Jason Wargo, your new offensive coordinator. Tell me a little bit about this person.
Well, we decided to tweak our offense somewhat and made the decision after last year to do that. And Jason has coached here before. He's played here. So I've coached him as a player. I've had him as assistant coach. He was a tremendous offensive line coach when he was here. And he really felt that this was something that he and his family wanted to do, was to come back to Geneva. And, he's part of the staff that we have that's, I think, outstanding. And you get guys like Jason, and you got like Tommy Quintana, our defensive coordinator and recruiting coordinator, and guys that played and understand Geneva. That is a vital part of coaching at a place like this that is very, very unique.
You know, we have Jerry Schmidt, the head coach of Duquesne, every week on the Coons Market Black and Gold Sunday Show. And this week he'll join us the day after they take on the University of Pittsburgh. Of course, that game 93-7 the Fan. I asked him last week, Saturdays, does he look at the Post-Gazette and see what happened in high school? He said, yeah, I do. I actually do. But let me tell you something about Tommy Contenta, your head recruiter. There's not a school that I can't ask him about, even in Ohio or West Virginia, that he doesn't know what's going on.
Yeah, he's an incredible recruiter. He's probably one of the best in the conference. And every school has a lead recruiter, even though everybody on the staff does it. But he has taken to that role, and he has done an outstanding job over the years he's been here. Meeting our recruiting numbers that we need to have for the enrollment of the school, and Tom's done that, and he loves he loves recruiting. He really does, and is doing an excellent job as a defensive coordinator this year in camp. Our kids on defense are flying around. They got a lot of enthusiasm going. We got some very, very good things going on. Heading into the schedule.
No doubt. Since 1993, have you ever had this much returning talent on both sides of the football?
Well, yes, we have.
I mean, 9 starters on both sides.
Yeah, some of those guys are injured. Some of those guys, are not starting now. Either they got beat out by someone, but we've gone through years where we've had better talent. I will tell you this. Love the attitude of these guys. Absolutely love the attitude. Their coachability, their grit, their preparation for the season. I mean, that's halfway there. And when you get kids who want to be here, when kids that want to play, and kids that want to learn, kids that want to be coached, and they want to be coached hard. I mean, our practices are not for the faint of heart. And our kids relish it because they know it. They've seen it already in the two scrimmages that we've had, that it's helped them prepare for playing against other teams.
As I came in here, and obviously this is going into your final year, I don't think you realize, outside of the actual game itself, what you've done for this program. The training room, obviously, coming up the steps to this floor, which has the offices and all the things that happen in the world of sports, and the legendary Matheny Fieldhouse, Reeve Stadium. This is a state-of-the-art facility. I mean, the weight room, you guys have really grown this facility as far as really how it looks aesthetically. It's amazing.
Well, it has changed dramatically, and it has to, and it has to continue to do so. And I know that our president, Dr. Trout, has plans for his tenure here as the president to even enhance the facilities more. You need to do that in Division III. It's just the level of competition and what student athletes look for in terms of colleges. And I'm just not talking in terms of athletic facilities. We're talking in terms of facilities that the college has in general. It is a huge drawing factor.
We're both going to kind of be in those rocking chairs watching everything evolve in the way of sports. That's where we are in our life, but we still have some gas left in the tank. I got to ask you, Division I, Division I AA, Division II, what steps do Division III, in your opinion, need to take, not to become more relevant, but to have a better chance to get the better athletes?
I think the only chance Division III has is to break into two different categories. I think one where you're going to allow NIL money for Division III athletes and let that become a separate group. And then the other group where it's purely going to be for the educational aspect of it. Division III is so widespread with state and private schools, and the size of schools, the size of the endowment of the schools, that it's the largest NCAA group of schools, and it probably there needs to be some reform take place in it for it to become relevant. Because the thing is, people will on a regional level will come to Division III games, will tune in on Division III games. I think the case in point on that is how well, what's happening with our local cable and with KDK Plus and what Austin's doing with that group. And
Austin Bechtel.
Austin Bechtel, absolutely.
Yeah, he's a good kid. Of Waynesburg, obviously Baldwin, a high school producer, 93.7 The Fan, and an exceptional talent at play-by-play. Here's the other thing. That happens, not only are you going to have a chance, but what you have here at Geneva as far as it being faith-based and the education and the alumni that I know who went here and where they went and where they are still going to this day, this is a oasis. This is a crown jewel on college here.
It comes down to this, and I think there's two things, and these are, in tension with each other, if you will. One is the level of competition that you play as a competitor. The people that have been here in the football program understand that. They understand who we play, the level of competition. And I'm talking about a very, very tough schedule week in and week out. It was the same that was happening here when some of the people that you think about were playing against state universities and being competitive. On one hand, you have that aspect. Then on the other hand, you have this aspect that the public and the general people outside don't care who you're playing, just as long as you're winning. And if you're winning, well, you can do a whole lot with that. So these are these two tensions that have to be balanced in order to create a program that's in demand.
This has been the question of not just me, but many of our friends, New Brighton alum, people that you're connected to, many coaches that I have in my contacts, too numerous to mention. We've all said, but why would Geno stay? All these years when the opportunities could have been there, and you could have pretty much written your own ticket. You could have went up as far as divisions in college football. Who knows, maybe even some sort of assistant in the pro ranks. You could have taken over any high school program. Why have you stayed the course here at Geneva? We're glad you did, but why?
I think from a standpoint of what Geneva initially did for me as a student athlete,
Right.
and more importantly as a person, that I needed that type of structure, and I see how critical it is for people between the ages of 18 and 23 that I believe in the mission of this college. I think other reasons are just personal. I mean, I had 4 daughters. I didn't feel like that was appropriate to move them around the country. And the other thing is you're in Western Pennsylvania, which is football. And the culture in Western Pennsylvania has always been football. I know people take shots at it now because we don't have the population. But still, I mean, it's still a football place. So for whatever reason, we tried to do what we had done on the Division I and scholarship level in terms of practice schedule, what we were asking of our kids, things like that, preparation. But the bottom line is, I don't know if there's another place where I could be openly vulnerable with our players to the point where they see somebody who is trying and living out their faith in Christ on a daily basis, and they see that I'm a flawed individual. And they can see that that it is grace, that it's His grace that covers us. And that has been, to me, the most gratifying thing of where these guys are. Because sometimes, Rob, and a lot of times, they don't get it while they're here. They'll get it when they leave here about having an education and being a Geneva football graduate.
You have flashbacks a lot throughout your day-to-day routine about being at Geneva as a student athlete. Does that kind of cross your mind?
No, not really. I mean, not as a student athlete. More.
Coach.
It's just during the season. It's kind of like the routine you have. You know, when you're on air, you're on the air and you're doing what you've been doing. You're focusing so much on the immediate and so much on the moment that it's very different. It's hard for people to understand who don't live these kinds of lives that it becomes all consuming. And I am trying to find a way and balance for this year to do that. But what I'm finding is these kids are so coachable. There's so many things to do to perfect or whatever. I'm never going to have the attitude that, hey, things aren't going to be perfect, so why are you doing that? It's just not my personality.
Never has been.
Never has been.
All right, before we get back to this season, and we're going to try to drop in on a weekly basis with the coach, I have to ask you this because I'm curious. And look, I understand there's a beginning, a middle, and an end.
Yeah.
And I know where I'm at too, and it's one of the reasons why I've been doing all these videos, because it's what I was made to do. I mean, and there's no money exchanging hands. I just like promoting. But here's the thing: you're all said and done. Okay, you've basically gone on with your life's work. Say there's a high school program locally. No? You'll never be a head coach?
No, I'm not saying no. I can't think in that
far.
And I can't think in that mindset. So my mindset right now is the fact that I know that we're going out today after we scrimmaged and we have some things that we have to improve on. And I can't wait to get out there with the guys to help them, improve the skills that God's given them. I also need to go out there and make sure that I'm teaching and coaching and getting them to connect on it, because some of the ideas that we're doing right now, I just find we're doing some great things from a coaching standpoint. Some great things, schematically, trying to utilize our talent as much as we can, being as creative we can now offensively. It's just, there's a renewed fire for me in what we're doing. It really is. I mean, we're finally running an aggressive defense because we have some kids that can cover. We're finally running an offense that's putting the defense in some precarious situations. And it's because of the experience that I have on the staff.
So I just got through watching, this took me a while, but the America's Team on Netflix.
Oh.
And I have a lot of respect for Jerry Jones, and I've been taken to the woodshed many times because of it. But I know the guy loves football, he loves his faith, loves his family, and you can't argue with his success. Not only has he helped Dallas, even though they haven't won that Super Bowl in 30 years, he's helped the NFL in an amazing way. But anyway, why is it in a game, it's so physical, that I've never seen athletes in any sport, and I've covered them all, where there's such a band of brothers and emotion that tears are shed by these hulks, these physical specimens? Why is there that kind of passion in football that can bring a grown man literally to tears talking about his teammates?
Because you go through so many things, and it is such a physical game. It's such a game that, it's a violent game.
It is.
It is a violent game.
That's what amazes me.
And when you start looking at the aspect of the violence that happens, you look at the risk of injury, and you look at the risk of how you play the game. And I'll tell you what, wrestling is probably the toughest sport. Hockey guys are absolutely tough, but you don't have that on any play or any moment you could sustain an injury that just ends your career.
Life altering.
Life altering, or just, I just was with a young man who
The first
popped
time,
his shoulder out last night, and he's done for the year. And I experienced that myself as a player. That is the thing about football that creates this band of brothers.
the first time I experienced that, I loved, back in the day, Monday Night Football was everything.
Yeah.
Jack Tatum, Ohio State,
Oh.
Oakland, hits Darryl Stingley.
Darryl Stingley.
That never has left my stream
No.
of consciousness. I think about it every football season.
No, and the thing that happened with Michael Irvin was same way. It wasn't a bad hit. It was just the way he landed. It's just, that's the way the game is, and football has taken a lot of shots because of it. Kids are told not to play because of the risk of what I believe was a very, very hyped movie by Will Smith.
Oh, yeah.
In Concussion. I know that the data that they used in that movie was flawed. I think if you listen to Merle Hodge,
They sensationalized it, you think?
I think they sensationalized
I'm
it.
talking about CTE.
Yeah, I think they sensationalized it greatly. I really do. And I think a lot of young men have missed out on what I believe is the last bastion of manhood, and that's the game of football.
What football also does, chronic traumatic encephalopathy, what we're talking
Right.
about. But what football does, it builds such character and gives people who are struggling to find it that opportunity to get it and to take it, not to professional football, maybe not even to a great school like Geneva, but in their life, being a husband, being a father, being a citizen. It has given them the opportunity to find themselves, and that's what football is all about.
It does. It is. It goes. It's really a cultural thing in football. If you look back many decades ago, some of the greatest coaches came out of the military.
Yeah.
All right, and then there's always been this idea that it has no similarity to war or to the military, but there is this incredible thing of discipline and being able to play together that has transcended generations. I think that football is going to continue to take a hit. I think the NFL is doing an incredible thing. I can't believe that the public is that much they're consumed.
Naive.
Oh, they're naive too, but they're so consumed with this game. I wish it was just about the game, Rob. I'm going to tell you that I think the idea that people just now have embraced betting because it's legal, it is taking the college football and the pro football game to another level.
Look at it. Name, image, and likeness, all the things that are happening. All right, before I let you go, preparation, thought process, and we will be back next week before they kick off the regular season. But do these weeks really drag, these last couple of weeks before the season actually starts?
No, I don't. I honestly, they have flown by. I think there's so many things that we try to get in for the first game, and you don't want to be that guy, that missed putting in this particular thing that happens on the first game, and it's like, wow, did we even prepare our kids because of this scenario? So you try to cover everything, but it's the first game.
All right, a couple notes college football before we go. And we're a little lengthy because I don't have a lot of other things going on today, so that's why I'm taking a little extra time to give you an added treat with the coach. Not because you go to the same barber, but James Franklin,
Yeah.
Penn State, this Aller kid. Many people believe they're now ranked second, that they could be the national champions. Do you think this could be the year for Penn State?
You know what? I haven't had an opportunity to study what they have coming back. I know that there's a lot of hype in State College. I know that he does an incredible job of recruiting in Western Pennsylvania. I know that when I listen to all the Penn State alums, they want this badly.
Okay.
You know what, during the course of a season, whether it's at Geneva College or it's at Penn State, every program's got to deal with injuries, disturbances, things that take your time away from the actual game, and a lot of times you can't prepare for all of that. But based upon the depth that they have at every position,
How do they keep getting all these kids from Beaver County? Why can't Pitt get more of these kids in your opinion?
you know what? Again, being a West Virginia guy, you're not going to want the answer from me.
What about Coach Narduzzi as a coach, though?
I love his style. I love the way he goes at it. And you know what? I want to see Coach Schmidt do real well against Pitt.
Duquesne, do you really?
I do. I want to see Jerry do real well. He doesn't shy away from anybody now. I mean, every game they're playing a money game, and the fact that they're playing somebody, right in the same zip code, I think that's pretty.
I think it's great for the game.
Yeah.
I much as I love Coach and I love Duquesne.
Yeah.
I love Pitt.
Yeah, that running back at Pitt, and what they've done on the offensive line, they're going to be a force to be reckoned with.
All right. You got Ohio State and Texas this weekend. Obviously, Arch Manning. Everybody's looking at this young man. Boy, he's a little talented to say the least, huh?
You know what? These big schools are mini corporations. They really are.
Oh, I know.
That's what they are. They're mini corporations, and the coaches are CEOs, and whether you're talking about Coach Narduzzi or talking about Rich down at WVU.
Rodriguez. I saw a picture of him today, and I hadn't seen a picture of him recently. He looks great, but I still think of him as this young.
Rich. Yeah, I hope they're going to play their butts off for Rich Rodriguez. I'm telling you, they will. They will.
He's a recruiter.
He's an incredible recruiter. He's a heck of a motivator. The staff he puts together he got a great blend of experience there and young guys. He got a defense coordinator there that's going to be his ceiling is so high, based on where he is. Zach Alley. That guy can. He's brilliant.
You think we'll ever see the next great one? You think there'll ever be like another Joe Namath or Marino?
I don't know. I mean,
one more.
Huh?
One more.
That's what talk shows, media, and everybody gets an opportunity to talk about. But right now, I got to go back to work. And Rob, I cannot thank you enough for doing this. Like, people don't know how much you have done for so many people in this area by just sitting down and talking with them. And I told you, this is your legacy.
It is. It's what I do.
Yep.
All right. A little bit more later. It's your Pratt Pack. Geno DeMarco. Widener, September 6th. They open up. Home opener the following week, the 13th, Shenandoah University.